Well, what's going on, YouTube? Hello, GZTV back with another video. Mic check. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the music that dropped this week. There was some decent amount of music. Again, elephant in the room, Lil Yachty dropped an album, but I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. This is just everything in between. If you guys want to go look at my album reaction, I appreciate the support. We've gotten like 30 views over the last couple of days, which is pretty solid for my channel. So if you guys want to go check that out, go ahead. Great experience. Yeah, the Kid Leroy, he had this like Fortnite event with the drop of this new single, Love Again. It's not a bad song, actually. The Kid Leroy, actually, like, based on the unreleased songs he had on that Fortnite event, yes, guys, I went. Call me like a loser or whatever the hell you want to call me, but he played some unreleased songs during that, and it was actually pretty good. There were actually some really solid songs going on that project, so yeah. This song, not bad. Nothing much to say. Zach Bia and Don Toliver dropped a song called Hardcore. It was a dance track. I think this is the first dance track I've ever heard Don Toliver on, and obviously rappers, Drake namely, tried to delve into this dance sound. It usually doesn't work that well. Obviously Drake's had some good dance tracks in his catalog, but for the most part rappers trying to go in this dance line didn't work, and here I'm just not sure about it. Maybe if I go back and re-listen to it I'll think of it differently, but just not for me. Anderson .Paak and Cordae come together for a J. Cole. There were actually some really good singles that came out this week. Cordae, Anderson .Paak come together for a J. Cole produced track, 210s. Actually a really good track, another track I need to go back and listen to. I really enjoyed this on the first listen. RMP was their first collaboration, and this track was very reminiscent of that. It sounded like they were going for the same thing. But talking about like women and yeah, saying 210s, I guess. Ray Shrimmered drops a single off of their Shrimp Life 4 album that's coming out hopefully in the near future. I'll definitely do a reaction, by the way, when that comes out. We have a Sucka or some. This video is not going to be long, by the way. I'm just kind of skimming through the tracks. Pretty good song here. Definitely has the energy from their previous Shrimp Life records. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do for that album. I don't think it's going to be anything amazing or anything special, but I think it's going to be refreshing to hear a Ray Shrimmered record for the first time in, 3 years, 2 years? Not really sure. I think Slim Jimmy had the best part on that song. Obviously, Sway Lee is like an amazing vocalist and it really helps them with like their hooks and stuff, but still. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about this much, but ESTG dropped a new track called Blow Up. I mean, I liked it. I liked this song. It's just, there's not really much to say about it. It's a pretty standard ESTG track. Let's see, Sleazy World to Go, drop Robbers and Villains. Obviously, he's been popping off for the last year or so. Collabing with guys like Offset, Lil Baby. I mean, this guy's career has been going pretty crazy. So, he dropped this. I don't think it's great. But yeah. Bobby Shmurda, I don't know who PG Low is. I feel like maybe I've heard of PG Low, but Bobby Shmurda drops a new track with PG Low called Rats. Honestly, a pretty solid song. It definitely reminds me of like Bobby Bitch and like the old Bobby Shmurda tracks. So, not much to say about it, but KC and Babytron come together for an amazing collaboration on Motown. What a combination these two are. This makes for an awesome track here. This was a good track, probably my favorite of the week, but outside the Yachty album. Obviously there's some Yachty tracks that absolutely trump this, but this was a really good record, and again, I would say it's the best track that came out this week. Tana came out with a mixtape. Shout out to Tana. His career's been kind of going crazy. He had the singles like Swaggin' Like This. People are going crazy over Fear No Man. This is a really good mixtape, though, for Tana. He was formerly known as Baby Santana, so if you're not familiar with Tana, that's Baby Santana. He has Lancey Foe and Swaggin' Like This. Cool collaboration there. This is a good project, though. A lot of like plug and B sounds. We know what Tana's sound is. If you've listened to him in the past, you knew exactly what he was coming with here. So yeah, Daniel Caesar drops a new track called Do You Like Me. Pretty good track. Daniel Caesar also, I think he's dropping an album very soon, which this would be his first album in 4 years, I believe, 3 or 4 years. He was on the Yachty album, so that's pretty cool. If you want to listen to more Daniel Caesar, he had a pretty good feature on the Yachty album, good singing on that closing track there on Let's Start Here. I would talk about that album, but again, I already have a review video, so this is just everything in between. This is usually not supposed to be like a bona fide, like full-on video, but Popcorn dropped an album. Obviously, we heard the We Can't Done track with Drake. It's okay. Drake adds a little bit of flavor to it. It's not much. But I just decided to listen to the Burna Boy track. Obviously, Burna Boy's been going crazy lately, so I just figured I'd listen to that. In a genre dominated by singles, Popcorn stands out in part by making albums that feel like albums. It's not that his sound is varied. If anything, with a few exceptions, great as he maintains its summary, gently uplifting mood with such steadiness, you start to feel like steadiness. The ability to stay cool and take the long view no matter what the challenge is part of his larger spiritual point. Does he party? Absolutely. Talking about it on songs like Set It, Skeleton Cartier. But most of the time you sound so content you wonder if partying is just his way of expressing gratitude for his turn here on Earth on songs like Appreciation and 11th Commandment. Making Burna Boy sound this unreservedly joyful is one thing on Ababuya, but Drake on We Can't Done, that's real. Yeah, that's kind of what Apple Music had to say. I figured I'd just read that because I know this video is not going to be much. But yeah, Summers dropped a new album. There's not really a bad song on here, and it's not really a terrible record here from Summers, and I can appreciate what he's put out in the past and stuff, but I honestly, looking at the future here, I don't see Summers making a career out of this. Yeah, he can have his little, I don't know if he has a record deal or anything. He's with 10,000 Records. I'm not sure what they do really, but I can't see him landing a big record deal. He's underground, don't make him mainstream. Yeah, you're not going to make him mainstream. This isn't something that appeals to that big of an audience. Obviously, Swing You Pull. Swing You Pull, that's really it from Summers. He was on the Trippie Redd album last week, which gave him maybe a big break a little bit. People saw that and were like, okay, the record sold 59K first week. Summers is probably going to sell maybe a couple thousand first week. If that. I don't know. It's not a bad album. There's some cool moments, but nothing much to say. Fulio drops K Flock. I don't know. Fulio's voice is kind of weird to me. Mozzie and Baby Money drop every night. This is actually not a bad track. There's just not much to say. I'm just gonna leave it off there. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. We got Dexter to talk about, and then I gotta go get some lunch. Probably work on some homework. Watch some basketball and football. Basketball starts at noon, so make sure you guys are watching that before the football games.